She's out of there. Pop star Rihanna is understandably freaked out. A woman was charged with attempted murder after cops say she shot at Rihanna's Beverly Hills mansion with an assault rifle.
In business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew.
The way that they want to, that girl, the way that Rihanna wants to kill me, she's the one who wants to kill me. The way that Rihanna wants to kill me shows that we're not going to show this right now. But this is my heart, Lord, and I am expecting and waiting in that beautiful time for you to show me what you're going to do and how you're going to deliver this promise. It's in my heart and it's in my vitality, and I'm very, very grateful to you.
And 8052, shooting just occurred. Approximately 10 shots heard and an unknown person shouting code 3 incident 1920 RV809 semi for additional.
10 gunshots, an AR-15, and one of the biggest music stars on earth sitting inside a trailer on her own property as bullets tore straight through the walls. On March 8th, 2026, a white Tesla rolled up to Rihanna's Beverly Hills mansion and opened fire in broad daylight. A.$AP Rocky, their 3 children, and Rihanna's mother were all on the property when it happened. Somehow, no one was hit, but it was way too close. Police moved fast, arresting 35-year-old Ivana Ortiz and framing it as an obsessed fan who snapped. Case closed, just like that. But a lot of people aren't buying that explanation. As the story broke, old clips of Katt Williams exploded online, especially his claims about how the music industry silences artists and how so-called accidents are rarely random. That raised a much darker question. Was this really one delusional woman, or just the person put out front for something much bigger? And before we even get into the theories, the facts alone are insane. On March 8th, 2026, Ivana Ortiz, a speech therapist from Orlando, drove a white Tesla to Rihanna's home and fired up to 10 rounds from an AR-15 style rifle. This wasn't some warning shot or a rock over the gate. She unloaded a high-powered weapon at a family home in one of the richest neighborhoods in America.
She's out of there. Pop star Rihanna is understandably freaked out. A woman was charged with attempted murder after cops say she shot at Rihanna's Beverly Hills mansion with an assault rifle. Now, Rihanna has reportedly fled Los Angeles over safety concerns.
According to security expert Kent Moyer, what happened at Rihanna's home should be a serious warning to every celebrity out there. The reality is unsettling. When obsessed fans decide to cross the line, finding a star's address is often far easier than people think. And in cases like this, that access can turn dangerous real fast.
Once people know where you live, what else is a celebrity to do? Are they supposed to move?
No. You can build layers of protection at the house and make sure that you have fence sensors and cameras with AI, cameras that maybe would identify whether the person has a weapon on them. The reality is you got to plan for all types of threats.
And this is the detail that really makes your stomach sink. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky weren't inside the main house that night. They were sitting in an Airstream trailer parked in the driveway, basically a metal shell with nowhere to hide. Prosecutors confirmed that several bullets hit that trailer directly while they were still inside. On the same property were their 3 children, RZA, Riot, and baby Rocky, as well as Rihanna's mother. When you realize who was there, this hits very differently.
Shocking, scary moment for Rihanna on Sunday when somebody drove by her house, stopped, and fired 10 rounds inside, and she was there with her children.
With a rifle, by the way, firing with an assault rifle type of weapon, according to law enforcement sources, and that person is now in police custody, by the way, charged with attempted murder, or booked for attempted murder.
Which
at this
clearly
point.
is.
Yes, a 35-year-old woman who, the bizarre thing, I mean, drives up to Rihanna's house, And a house, by the way, that she's had a lot of issues with people showing up there. But this person opens fire multiple times with this rifle. Thankfully, nobody in the home was injured.
And what's crazy about this whole thing is the woman that was arrested, they've now released her name to the public, and we've done some background digging on her. She has a past with law enforcement. She's been arrested for domestic violence, careless driving. Her current addresses show that she lives in the Orlando, Florida area. So there's nothing that's tying her
to
here.
LA?
So it makes you wonder, did she get on a plane and come here, or did she drive this car that she was in front of the house from Florida? Her addresses are in Florida, in the Orlando area.
So Rihanna has had problems not just at this house, but I remember
Previous home also that she moved out of because of
a house in
multiple burglaries.
In Pacific Palisades, multiple burglaries, stalkers. I mean, this has, you know, she kind of embodies the conundrum of being a big celebrity, where there are, you know, both unstable people and people who are trying to score a quick payday, where they are just targets. And, you know, this was LAPD, and, you know, there is a special unit there for, you know, people, you know, who are stalkers, and where a celebrity can go to this high-profile unit. But they will tell you at this high-profile unit that they can only do so much.
Right. If someone is mentally unstable, yes, they can try to stop, but you can't predict.
What do you do?
What someone like that is going to do.
You get a restraining order, and these are the people who are least likely to obey a restraining order.
Right.
So, you know, you get a restraining order, and they go back and they do exactly what they've done before, and we see that over and over and over again. You talk about, you know, putting somebody under an involuntary psychiatric hold. That's 72 hours.
Right.
It's a
And
revolving
that's over.
door.
Right.
And even if they're convicted of, you know, trespassing or stalking, the way the jails are, especially in LA, they're so overcrowded that, you know, you will spend maybe 6 months, more likely 3 days.
I mean, look, we're in this just happened 24 hours ago, but if this becomes a situation where there's a plea deal accepted for one of those lesser charges you talked about, where someone gets out.
They're in and out.
But attempted murder is a very serious charge.
That's true.
And if they end up going forward and sticking to that as the charge, and this person is convicted of that, then you don't have the revolving door.
You're right, but the act itself is escalated to such a level that somebody could have died in that house, Rihanna or her kids. So it has to reach that level for something to be handled in a way that can take somebody off the streets for any lengthy period of time.
You know, the new DA is not going to be one, I would think, to talk about a plea deal here.
No, I agree.
I just spoke to someone close to both of them, and I said, we've got to assume they're going to move now, that they're going to immediately put this house in the market, or they're at least not going to live in it anymore. Right. It's not even in a gated community. You can access, like this woman, you can, you know, most celebrities, they live behind a gated community that's protected by security. This, you can drive right up and, you know, you're outside
What did they say about moving?
And they said, oh, I don't think they've gotten there yet. And I said, oh my gosh, they have to know
the reality
at this
is
point that they're not going to go back.
They have other homes,
right,
and they don't have to stay here.
Right.
But it would seem like you wouldn't want to after something like that happening.
Well, again, she is used to people violating the law to get at her or get at her things.
This is the first time, though, that I think certainly this level of crime has happened since they have 3 kids now. They have 3 young children at home.
It changes
and
the
that
game.
changes the calculus.
Yeah. Police found Ortiz roughly 30 minutes later after a helicopter spotted her white Tesla sitting in a mall parking lot about 7 miles away. She was taken into custody and hit with 1 count of attempted murder, 10 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and 3 counts of shooting into an occupied home. Bail was set at nearly $2 million. And almost immediately, the mainstream narrative locked in, unstable fan, lone wolf, case closed. But online, people weren't so quick to accept that. The internet started pulling at the threads. Who was this woman who drove all the way from Florida to Beverly Hills with a rifle in her car? Once reporters began digging through her social media, things got disturbing fast.
A woman is now in custody, and she's being held on a $10 million bond.
Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Grande is live outside the singer's home in Beverly Glen with the very latest. Carlos?
Well, we now know the name of the suspect who allegedly shot into Rihanna's home. She is identified as 35-year-old Ivana Lisette Ortiz from Florida. And we also know Rihanna was at home when the gunfire started.
West unit, shooting just occurred. 10 gunshots fired from the vehicle. The PR believes the shots came from across the street of the upper gate. The PR does not have visual. No further. Additional 1921.
There you heard the police call saying the gunfire came from a car across the street. And today you can see the bullet holes on the gate that had been taped over. Police say there were multiple shots fired into the home, and we're told Rihanna was here, but nobody was hurt. Several rounds hit the outside of the home, as well as a vehicle parked out front. Sources say the weapon allegedly used was an AR-style gun. At least 2 other homes on the block also had bullet holes. Now, in the audio, police are also heard saying the suspect's Tesla was followed by an LAPD helicopter into a mall parking garage in Sherman Oaks, where she was pulled over and arrested by patrol units. Now, Rihanna has 3 children with her partner, rapper A$AP Rocky. It's unclear if he and the children were home at the time of the shooting. Investigators are even trying to determine the motive and whether the suspect even knew that Rihanna lived here. Now, as you said, the suspect is not booked for attempted murder. Bail has been set at more than $10 million.
New clues now in the assault rifle attack on Rihanna's mansion. As we're learning more about the woman police say opened fire on the Grammy winner's home. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy live outside the Beverly Glen home with new revelations tonight. Liz.
Mark, tonight investigators are looking into new videos posted online long before they say Ivana Ortiz showed up here outside Rihanna's home with a gun. Now tonight, what investigators are really trying to figure out is if Ortiz traveled from her home in Orlando here to LA with the intention of shooting Rihanna or her home. Locked in an LA County jail for a second night on a multi-million-dollar bond, investigators are now digging into the criminal history and online musings of Ivana Ortiz, this Florida woman arrested and charged with trying to kill Rihanna. The R&B singer had apparently been on Ortiz's mind for some time.
Listen, Rihanna, when you die, God is taking me to my future. You want to kill me. Shut the up.
Investigators are now looking at this rambling talk-to-camera video posted on January 4th and many others like it on Ortiz's social media profile.
No, Rihanna, no. You're not the eagle. They will soar high on wings like eagles. Rihanna wants to say that we are flying. That we are flying and we're not. She's not flying. She had a bad day. She looks really stupid and corny. And everyone knows it. But the way that they want to, that girl, the way that Rihanna wants to kill me, she's the one who wants to kill me. The way that Rihanna wants to kill me shows that we're not going to show this right now. But this is my heart, Lord, and I am expecting and waiting in that beautiful time for you to show me what you're going to do and how you're going to deliver this promise. It's in my heart and it's in my vitality, and I'm very, very grateful to you for your abundant graces. Listen, Rihanna, when you die, God is taking me to my future. You want to kill me. Shut the up, okay? Shut the up. Yeah, she's a witch. She's a witch. I'm a watchman. She's a witch. Get that stupid girl out of here. Okay? They can't do this. They can't do this. What about my hands? What about these fingers over here? What about these 3 fingers? What about it? What about it? No, you're not here. You're rebuked. And even if you're here, there are many in this realm. There are many in this realm, and you are rebuked, and Jesus is the King, and you're just kicking and screaming on your way out and perishing. It's embarrassing.
For months, Ortiz appeared fixated on Rihanna. She accused the singer of being a witch and stealing people's energy, then spent 60 straight days on YouTube talking about spiritual warfare, the devil, and enemies trying to destroy what is beautiful. In one video, she warned, "Someone wants to kill you," before naming Rihanna as that enemy. On Facebook, she tagged Rihanna directly, demanding a response. By December, she claimed she was finished with Rihanna and dragged Kim Kardashian into the same posts. On the surface, it looked like a classic celebrity stalking case, the kind stars like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, and Rosie O'Donnell have dealt with before. But then, the story got a lot stranger. Her estranged husband, Jed Valdez, said that on January 26th, more than a month before the shooting, Ortiz emailed him demanding he renounce Rihanna so that a door can be closed. That doesn't sound like a sudden breakdown. It sounds planned, and that's where the internet went into overdrive. Early LAPD dispatch audio reportedly described the driver of the fleeing white Tesla as a Hispanic male. Let that sink in. Not a woman, a man. Ortiz, the person now charged, is a woman. So if that first description was accurate, who was actually behind the wheel? Maybe it was confusion in the chaos. Maybe a witness got it wrong. But in a case where every other detail has been documented down to the minute, it's odd that this one detail seemed to vanish. Then there are the box braids in Ortiz's mugshot. Anyone familiar with the style knows that look can take 8 to 10 hours in a salon chair. If this was supposedly a spontaneous mental break, when exactly was there time for that? Small detail? Maybe. But when you're told this was just one unstable woman acting alone, those small details start painting a very different picture. And that's exactly why old Katt Williams clips are suddenly blowing up all over again.
Now here's where Katt Williams comes in and why his old clips are suddenly getting millions of views again.
Or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Wow.
I'm saying there's the good side and the bad side of these businesses, and
but think about what you just think about what you just said. That's extremely thoughtful and powerful. It could only be what it was if it were those two.
For years, Katt Williams has been warning about what he believes really happens behind the curtain in the music business. A lot of people wrote him off as unhinged. Then the Sean Combs scandal exploded, and suddenly his old claims about secret parties, brutal contracts, and the industry quietly discarding people didn't sound so easy to dismiss. In one resurfaced interview, Williams described what he called the economics of removing an artist. His argument was simple. When a superstar is taken out of the picture, someone higher up can profit. Contracts vanish, royalty obligations shrink, and the brand keeps earning long after the person is gone. In that world, artists aren't treated like human beings, they're assets. And when an asset becomes inconvenient, there are ways to deal with it. Williams also said these situations are often packaged to look random. A troubled fan, a tragic accident, someone who just went too far, but according to his theory, there's usually a financial winner hiding in the background. To be clear, no verified clip shows him directly linking Rihanna to this framework. Still, the parallels were enough to send his interviews viral again as people began applying his ideas to this case. And then another detail surfaced that even skeptics found hard to ignore. Investigators and online researchers discovered that Ivana Ortiz reportedly had an active legal dispute involving Live Nation Entertainment, the same entertainment giant connected to Rihanna's touring business through Roc Nation.
Before shots were fired at Rihanna's house, the suspect had already been spiraling online, posting bizarre rants about Rihanna and other celebrities. Before I get into her weird past, let's briefly talk about what happened on this past Sunday at Rihanna's house. So it's March 8th, this past Sunday around 1:15 p.m. and police receive a call about shots fired. This is the suspect, 35-year-old Ivana Ortiz. She's from Orlando. She decided to pull up to Rihanna's house in her Tesla. She gets out of her Tesla with an AR-15 and shoots 10 times at Rihanna's house. The bullets mainly hit the exterior walls and gates, so thankfully Rihanna and her children were safe. It's being rumored that A$AP Rocky was not there at the time. Ivana ends up pulling off after this entire incident, and she's found 8 miles away from Rihanna's home at a shopping center. She was booked on suspicion of attempted murder, and she's being held on a $10 million bail. But now let's get into why this girl is honestly absolutely insane. Okay, so this post is from February 23rd from Ivana on Facebook. She tags Rihanna, okay, and bear with me because this makes absolutely zero sense. She said, "Are you there? Because I was waiting for your AIDS 5-head self to say something to me directly instead of sneaking around like you talking to me where I'm not at." What? Now I'm gonna show you guys this video where Ivana is directly talking to Cardi B.
You can't with me, Cardi B. You're supposedly busy right now. You're supposedly busy right now. But you know who has the cutest outfit tonight? You know who's the cutest tonight? I am. I'm the cutest tonight.
I'm not quite sure what connection she has to these celebrities, but I don't think she has a connection. She is taking parasocial to the next fucking level. And I'm still going. This girl still has some more shit. So this is from October of 2025. This is about a Billie Eilish concert. Okay, let me read this to y'all. Okay, hold on. In October of 2025, someone named Ivana Ortiz filed an emergency petition for temporary injunction relief against Live Nation, the city of Orlando, and the Kia Center related to a Billie Eilish concert, according to court records. In those documents, Ortiz alleged that she would suffer immediate and irreparable harm if Billie Eilish's concert proceeded due to noise concerns and traffic issues. She also expressed concern over whether a noise waiver had been filed. She asked the court to issue an injunction to stop the concert from happening. In one document, Ortiz said the amount of the claim would be worth $75,000 to $100,000. The court dismissed the claim weeks later. So something is genuinely wrong with homegirl. I don't know what her obsession with celebrities is. I'm not quite sure if she has a connection with celebrities. If any of you guys know her, went to school with her, have any more information on this girl, please let me know.
Now put that detail into perspective. At the time of the shooting, the United States Department of Justice was already locked in a massive antitrust battle with Live Nation Entertainment, one of the biggest legal threats the music business had ever faced. The case targeted the very foundation of the world's most powerful concert and ticketing empire. According to theorists applying Katt Williams' framework, artists like Rihanna, who sit at the center of Roc Nation's business, could be viewed as critical assets or even potential witnesses in a corporate fight of this scale. And when that much money and influence are on the line, even a message delivered through someone else would carry serious weight.
Now, the dispatch audio has been released.
And 8052, shooting just occurred. Approximately 10 shots heard and then an unknown person shouting, code 3 incident 1920 RD809, semi for additional.
8052, Kent incident 1921, all units 8020 responding closely from Santa Monica and Stoner to...
Show us back here.
8052, Roger, other unit with the message repeat.
81 shows back from the station.
All units 81 backing from the station to...
Orthola units at 8028, 8028 additional, your shooting just occurred. DPR believes the shots came from across the street of the upper gate. The PR does not have visual. No further. It's additional 1921.
Orthola unit, shooting just occurred. Those vehicles are white Tesla, SE northbound on Coldwater. 10 gunshots fired from the vehicle at the gate. Code 3, incident 1932, RD809.
Air 10, can you find out the make of that Tesla? I'm sorry, the model.
Air 10, somebody. Maybe are you still on the line?
Number 2, passenger, for the description, the passenger was firing a gun. Additional on incident 1932.
Can you go to the model of the car?
Philadelphia 6, Roger. Orthola units responding, shooting just occurred. Suspect vehicle is a 2023 to 2024 Tesla 4-door with paper license plate, unknown model. Additional incident 1932. ID 53, the suspect vehicle was last seen going southbound on Coldwater Canyon. Stand by, the peers attempting to check the camera footage for a license plate.
85, show us code 100 on Sunset and Coldwater.
8052, repeat your cross to Coldwater. Sorry, that's 8052, code 100, Sunset, Coldwater.
Beverly Hills notified. 81, was there a license plate number on the Tesla?
Maybe are you still on the line?
Stand by, the peers attempting to look at the camera footage for the license plate.
All units, addition on the shooting just occurred. Suspect vehicle was last seen Coldwater Canyon, addition on incident 1921.
Zebra 2 is going to be a Tesla Model 3, white in color. Stand by for the plate. Air 10 will copy, we're in the area.
Air 10's in the area.
AT2 control southbound Coldwater. 7834, Roger.
All units, addition on the shooting just occurred. Suspect vehicle is a white Tesla Model 3, license plate David Paul 38 Edward 1, David Paul 38 Edward 1, last seen northbound from 1200 block of Benedict Canyon.
AZ1, that's just a possible.
Search impossible. Temporary plate, David Paul 38, Edwin 1, David Paul 38, Edward 1.
859. I just spoke to the primary and it's going to be a verified. That's the plate and the vehicle traveling on Benedict northbound.
Okay, Friend Roger.
And it has been reported by the LAPD chief that 8 people were inside Rihanna's home when this incident happened. Like, how terrifying. And according to the LA Times, Rihanna, ASAP, and their 3 children were at home at the time of the incident, and they said that Rihanna and ASAP were actually inside an Airstream on their property that was struck. Yes. Now, a female suspect was taken into custody and has since come out that this suspect's name is Ivana Lisette Ortez. She's a 35-year-old woman from Florida. Now, reportedly, Ivana fired on Rihanna's house from her car, a white Tesla parked right outside Rihanna's home. I already have questions here. When I saw the picture of the Airstream, I had a lot of questions. Okay, why was Rihanna and ASAP in the Airstream? I mean, it's a camper. They probably could have been doing anything. Could probably been taking a smoke break out there, you know, with the kids inside. That seems very feasible. But I was like, where is the Airstream parked? Airstream is parked actually in front of the house, is what it looks like from this photo. This woman drove her Tesla right up to the front, seemingly, allegedly, took this and fired over and went straight through the Airstream and into the house. Stay with me here, because it's weird. This is weird, okay?
Was Ivana Ortiz mentally unstable? Based on her social media, that certainly appears possible. But the question Katt Williams would raise is more unsettling. Can someone be genuinely troubled and still be used as a pawn? In his view, the music industry doesn't need to create attackers. It only has to spot people already on the edge and give them a push. The Live Nation entertainment connection doesn't prove any conspiracy, but it does make the random fan explanation feel a lot less straightforward. And when you zoom out through Williams's lens, Rihanna stops looking like the target of one disturbed individual and starts looking like the latest name in a much longer pattern. His central point has always been the same. This industry protects the money, not the people. And the bigger your name becomes, the riskier it gets to step out of line or simply know too much.
Here to announce the charges that have been filed against Ivana Lisette Ortiz, a 35-year-old woman from Orlando, Florida, in connection with the case in which she has now been arraigned. And by the way, that arraignment date has now been continued to March 25th. The charges that have been filed against Ms. Ortiz include 1 count of attempted murder, 10 felony counts of with a semi-automatic firearm, and 3 felony counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling or camper. Any charges that have been filed, as I've said very often, are just that. They are not the evidence that we are presenting in court. That evidence will be presented in court at the appropriate time, at which point we intend to convict Ms. Ortiz of all the charges which have been leveled at this point beyond a reasonable doubt to either a judge or a jury. But summarizing the allegations that exist so far, on March 8th at approximately 1:20 p.m., Ms. Ortiz is accused of driving up to the residence of Rihanna, at which point she fires from her semi-automatic weapon multiple times at the residence. In that residence, Rihanna was there with her partner, her 3 children, her mother, and 2 staff people, representing 8 of the 10 of the counts of dealing with the semi-automatic firearm. In addition, Ms. Ortiz is accused of firing at a neighboring residence that had 2 additional individuals. That is why there are 10 felony counts of a firearm. And there are 3 felony counts of inhabited dwellings. There are actually 2 dwellings at Rihanna's residence. There's a Airstream camper in which 2 individuals were located, as well as a house on that property, and then there was the neighboring property. That is why there are 3 felony counts of at an inhabited dwelling or camper. What happened after Ms. Ortiz at these various residences and people is that she then traveled through Beverly Hills, eventually ending up in Sherman Oaks. And then at that point, within hours, she was arrested.
Ivana's lawyer initially entered a plea of not guilty on her behalf, but then asked for her arraignment to be postponed until March 25th.
The Veterans Rights Center plea of not guilty, denying any and all special allegations, enhancements, and crimes?
Yes, ma'am.
The plea of not guilty is entered on behalf of your client.
Your Honor, court will actually be waiving time for arraignment plea for 2 weeks.
So you're requesting to...
Yes,
okay, so to what date, I'm sorry?
We can get 2 weeks from today.
The not guilty plea entered by this court is withdrawn. Counsel is requesting to waive time for arraignment and plea to March 25th, 2026. Ms. Ortiz, you have the statutory or constitutional right to be arraigned today. Your counsel is requesting that your arraignment be continued to March 25th, 2026. Do you waive your right to a speedy arraignment so that your arraignment can be heard on March 25th, 2026? Yes. Is counsel joining the waiver?
So joined.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of her right to a speedy arraignment, and that her counsel joins in that waiver.
Built a $1.4 billion empire through Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty. At this point, she's not just an artist, she's a powerhouse, a competitor, someone with real leverage. And in an industry built on control, independence can make people nervous. Katt Williams has long argued that the moment an artist no longer needs the machine, as much as the machine needs them, things start getting complicated. Prince publicly battled his label and wrote "slave" on his face. Michael Jackson was preparing to challenge industry corruption before his death. Now Rihanna, one of the most powerful women in entertainment, has bullets striking her trailer while her children are on the property. Coincidence? Maybe. Probably even. But Williams's question has always been the same. Who benefits? And in Rihanna's case, that answer isn't simple. Now let's separate what is confirmed from what remains speculation. Ivana Ortiz drove to Rihanna's home in Beverly Hills and fired multiple rounds from a semi-automatic rifle. That is confirmed. Rihanna, AOAP Rocky, and their family were on the property. Confirmed. Ortiz had documented months of obsessive online posts about Rihanna. Confirmed. She now faces attempted murder charges and could spend the rest of her life in prison. Also confirmed. What is not confirmed is any direct tie between Ortiz and a larger music industry plot. No corporate fingerprints, no proven handler, and aside from the early dispatch discrepancy, no hard evidence that anyone else was involved.
Meantime, we have this. An Orlando, Florida woman is being held on more than $10 million bail for allegedly shooting at singer Rihanna's home over the weekend.
Gigi Graciette is standing by with more on the suspect who faces attempted murder charges. Gigi, this is so scary, and it got even scarier when I saw those Facebook posts.
But here's why a lot of people aren't satisfied with stopping at the simplest explanation. We're living in a post-Sean Combs era. The court filings, depositions, and federal raids have forced the public to confront the fact that some of the most powerful figures in entertainment have been accused of operating in deeply disturbing ways for years. Many of those stories were once dismissed as wild conspiracy theories. So when Katt Williams says that very little in this industry is truly random, his words hit differently now. Trust in official narratives is lower than it's been in a long time. And when that narrative contains unanswered questions, a possible second person in the car, the Live Nation Entertainment connection, and a shooter who appeared unusually prepared, people are going to start connecting dots. That's not recklessness, that's people paying attention.
I was trying to do something there that hadn't been done. I thought that I had figured out the algorithm mathematically, and I thought that I could show that. And when I wrote it out to kill the careers of the people I was talking about, right? But it was so vicious that I erased all of the knockout blows and just left the jabs, so that the comic I'm talking about knows that I know your real story. I'm gonna tell this, but you know what else I know.
Here's where this story ultimately lands. Rihanna is alive. Her family is safe. Ivana Ortiz is in custody and now faces the full force of the law. The LAPD says there is no evidence of a wider conspiracy, and that may very well be the truth. But Katt Williams built his reputation by saying the uncomfortable thing out loud long before everyone else was ready to hear it. The real question isn't whether Ortiz is guilty. By all appearances, she is. The question is whether she acted completely alone. Does the neatly packaged, unstable fan explanation account for every loose end? The mystery driver, the signs of planning, the Live Nation entertainment connection, and the carefully executed escape? Maybe it does. Maybe this was simply a deeply troubled woman who became obsessed with a celebrity and crossed a terrifying line. That does happen, and it's tragic when it does. But in an industry where protecting the narrative can be as valuable as uncovering the truth, is just a crazy fan still enough to satisfy people? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you want more stories that dig beneath the surface, subscribe and stay locked in. Until next time, keep it real.